Law enforcement agencies across the Rogue Valley continuing to search for suspects involved in attempted kidnappings.
There have been several recently, one in White City yesterday and another in Phoenix last Friday. Police say tips are coming in, but they need more help. Two agencies are working together to find a man they believe is targeting young girls trying to kidnap them, but they don't have much to go on.
We have been getting tips, considering, a 1986 Toyota van. I don't think there's a lot of them out there. I'm kind of surprised that we haven't gotten more tips.
At least 3 incidents have been reported, 2 in White City and 1 in Phoenix. All 3 cases involve a man in a van and young girls who refused to get in. Cases like these depend on teamwork.
We notified dispatch of the call and what we're responding to immediately, and we try and get other agencies involved.
Once that information comes in, officers spread the word.
If we are unable to capture the suspect at that time, we'll just put out police bulletins to the other agencies, let them know what happened, all the information that we have.
It's that information and teamwork that will end up keeping the community safe, but it's not all up to investigators. It's up to the community as well to help protect itself and its children.
Until we're able to catch somebody in the van, and I mean, more than one person could be driving the van. We don't know that yet, so we need to talk to people who know who drives that van.
If you have any information about these cases, contact your local police department.
We're hoping for some nice weather, some nice crowds, and just everybody have a good time. We hear there's supposed to be 25,000 people.
The city decided to close the streets down earlier this year, and it's affecting some local businesses.
The street closures and getting ready for the Pear Blossom and the street fair is definitely impacting business today.
Ed Chun owns the Sunrise Cafe on Main Street. He hopes tomorrow's crowds will help offset today's losses. He's opening his restaurant on a Saturday for the first time, just for the festival.
Pear Blossom's a long tradition in the valley, and I've been here for 17 years, and it's always been a part of my life. So I've been here. So I'm looking forward to having lots of people come down and seeing what's new and find out more about Medford.
Kaylani Kell and Cassie Smith are also hoping for good weather Saturday morning. They want to watch the parade.
I'm excited to see the high school bands go through because, you get to see familiar faces, which I really enjoy about the community.
Cassie says she'll be out no matter what the weather does.
I'm going rain or shine because my cousin's on the baby float and he's really cute.
Again, several Medford streets are closing for the festival. The street closures start today around Main Street and Central Avenue. Several other streets are closing tomorrow for the parade and race routes. You can find details on our website, ktvl.com. Good evening, I'm Rick Tillery.
I'm Trish Close. Thanks for joining us tonight. Wildfires burning in southern Oregon and northern California.
We start tonight with the Sterling Ditch Fire. News 10's Whitney Clark is on Anderson Butte. She joins us now by phone with tonight's top story at 6. Whitney? Good evening, I'm Rick Tillery.
I'm Trish Close. Thanks for joining us tonight. A group of young volunteers cleaning out a sediment trap on Mount Ashland that's been filling up for 8 years.
It's part of Mount Ashland's effort to keep extra sediment out of rivers and reservoirs, but some say they're not doing enough. News 10's Crystal Henderson has more in tonight's top story at 6. The Mount Ashland ski proposal is still going through the legal process. Ski area managers say they expect to get an answer from the judge if it's a go at any time. Some Jackson County residents are upset about a possible road project. They say it could cost them thousands of dollars whether they want it or not. News 10's Jenica Villamore is in the news center with more on that story. The Klamath County Juvenile Detention Center is housing fewer juvenile detainees, and it is costing the county money. News 10's Crystal Henderson explains why. Right here where I'm standing was underwater last night. You can take a look behind me. You can see the stuff that's sitting there on the roadway. That's where it has gone so far today. And while the waters have receded a bit, it has rained here off and on all day, complicating efforts to figure out just how much damage has been done here.
My life, I've been here 45 years.
Lee Holt spent the day helping firefighters assess the damage from water level, using his boat to tour the flood zone.
Never thought I'd drive a boat where I drive a vehicle at every day for my business here in town.
For Fire Captain James Grimmett, this trip is heartbreaking.
I've never seen anything like this. Never seen this much water in Coffeyville.
The two are surveying the hundreds of houses and businesses on the east side of town, all of them underwater.
We're always concerned about rescues, but I think that portion may be over. The guys now are going house to house just as an insurance policy to make sure there's no one left in the homes or any pets.
Everything here is covered in a thick petroleum film. It's coming from the Coffeyville Resources Refinery on the banks of the Verdigris River. A leak there spilled 1,000 barrels of crude oil, sending it into the floodwaters.
I feel sorry for everybody, people who've lost their homes and everything they've owned their whole life, you know, businesses. It's going to hurt Coffeyville really badly.
But Lee Holt has a more positive outlook.
I think once the water recedes, the people will come together and get it all cleaned back up what they can and salvage what they can, and it'll be rebuilt.
Bill, the EPA is in Coffeyville today testing the waters, checking to see what might be in there that's dangerous. But I can tell you that fuel smell, that petroleum smell, has lingered here all day long throughout the area. Live in Coffeyville, Rick Tillery, NBC Weather Plus.
Okay, right, Rick, let's go ahead and send it out to you, and I believe you've got somebody to talk to give us more as to what's going on.
Well, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to recap just a little bit of what happened. The lightning strike happened at 9:08 this morning, and it hit a tank nearly full of unleaded gasoline. I'm going to step out of the shot so you guys can get a good, clear shot of that real quick. It had 125,000 barrels of unleaded gasoline. Foam is being put on the fire. Now, this is right here, Russ Florence with Explorer Pipeline. You are the spokesman for Explorer Pipeline. What is being done to try and get this fire put out right now?
Well, as you just mentioned, Sun Refinery's crews is on site, and they are applying foam to the fire in order to contain it. And so containing the fire and keeping everyone safe is a priority at this point. And so far, there are no reports of any injuries, no reports of any evacuations.
Now, what about the pipeline itself? Is there any danger of it spreading through the pipeline, maybe to other tanks or down the pipeline itself?
Well, the pipeline itself has been shut down, and Explorer's pipeline ships fuel basically from Houston up to Chicago. So shortly after the fire was started, the pipeline was shut down.
Now, this is a major pipeline throughout the Midwest, supplying the entire Midwest with gasoline. Is this going to have an effect on fuel prices, do you think?
Well, at this point, it's too early to tell. We'll just have to see how this plays itself out, and we'll be able to answer those questions hopefully for you a little bit later.
Okay, thanks a lot. Now, also, one thing to note, the power is isolated from the tank. That means that no possibility of sparks, hopefully, from electrical sources near the tank. There are 31 other tanks like this out here, different sizes. This is one of the larger ones that's out here. Like I said earlier, 125,000 barrels of unleaded gasoline in this tank, still burning out here, guys. You see the water where it is right now, that's just about normal. But yesterday, when it was flooding, it was 4 feet above the roadway, right about where the camera's sitting. Late word that all of the victims tonight were teenagers, ranging from 14 to 17 years old. Flooding in this part of Tulsa County is a fairly common occurrence. This is Berg Creek. You can see it's already over the bank. A new study shows the cost of tornado damage in Oklahoma is higher than any other state over the past decade. Federal data shows that from 1996 through February of 2005, the state suffered more than $1.6 billion in damages from tornadoes. That's about $1 billion more than second-placed Arkansas. Cody's mom, Darlene Patton, is still devastated by that news yesterday. She says she's still trying to come to terms with the fact that she'll never see her son again.
And I stayed with him until he died at 6:47 last night.
A tragic end to a horrible day. Cody was shot 6 hours earlier at the Easy Pawn on East Memorial. 3 men walked in and asked to see some jewelry. Cody opened the case, but one of the men punched him and another shot him.
When the bullet hit his aorta, the main artery to the heart, it tumbled around inside of him. It hit his lung twice. It hit his stomach several times. It hit other organs, and then it ricocheted out the back of his back. He didn't even have a chance.
IMSA immediately took Cody to St. John Medical Center, and he was rushed into surgery, but the damage was severe.
They said he lost enough blood to fill up a bathtub. His blood wouldn't clot. He couldn't hold his body temperature.
This is Cody's sister Madison. She says her brother was one of the warmest people she knew, but this is just too much to bear.
He was the best brother. I'll never forget him.
All Darlene wants is for someone who knows something to come forward.
They took my son's life for no reason.
Darlene Patton and police are still asking for everyone's help in trying to solve this case. If you know anything or saw that car, call 911 immediately. In the newsroom, Rick Tillery, Channel 2 works for you.
TV10's Rick Tillery has the story of a soldier who survived the January 10th deadly attack.
On January 10th, the life of Army Specialist Dustin Tidwell changed forever. It was the day he saw 2 friends killed in a roadside attack. This video was taped by the insurgents that planted this bomb.
I don't even remember any of the explosion. I just remember waking up on the ground with all kind of metal, all kind of stuff on top of me.
One of Tidwell's fellow soldiers saved his life. That soldier pulled Justin free from the burning Bradley and then collapsed himself. Only then did Tidwell realize what had happened.
I knew we got hit by something, but I didn't know what it was. And I saw the fire, but it's like, it was surreal. It was like you were watching a movie, but you were there.
And luckily, another part of the platoon came to help.
Our first element came and got us and started dragging us away from it before it fully engulfed in flames.
The explosion and flames killed 2 friends, Staff Sergeant Bill Manuel and Sergeant Robert Sweeney. With a Purple Heart in hand, Tidwell is now home, trying to recuperate. And while Dustin is working through the physical pain, the emotional hurt lingers still.
It's kind of like losing family, because it's like we all became brothers, and it replays all the time in your mind.
But there is relief in knowing that the 256th will likely be back in Acadiana by the time Dustin is better and fit for duty again. In Bayou Chico, Rick Tillery, TV 10, Eyewitness News.